Previously on Quality Start.
And Kyle Crick could not preserve the game as Ryan Braun hit this double. This is David Fletcher of the Angels. He could play multiple positions. Carlos Rodon. He could provide value to your fantasy team in 2020. Yep, that's what I did. I tell you news and information. I also throw in an occasional piece of advice. Certainly, Carlos Rodon, after last night's performance against the Tribe, not so sure he's going to help your fantasy team in 2020. But the good news is there's plenty of other players that will, and we'll discuss all of them on today's Quality Start for July 29th, 2020. Kyle Hendricks will be on the mound today. Can he live up to what he did in his last start? A complete game, 103 pitches, phenomenal effort. He had 5 strikeouts on his changeup alone in that game against the Brewers. Now, sure, it was the Brewers' first game, and a lot of batters are still getting adjusted. I mean, Yelich's OPS is in the dumper. Acuna has really struggled. Some of the best players in baseball are still getting their feet wet, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. But pitchers are having great results in certain spots, and then not in others. So who's dominating? Is it the hitters? Is it the pitchers? We'll discuss it today. We'll look at the schedule, and we'll find out who else is on the bump. Nate Pearson, Major League debut. We'll talk about that. He's going against Max Scherzer. Old guard, new guard. Classic showdown. Boom! I'm so excited for this. So let's dive into the King of the North.
The King of the North!
This player definitely gets the nod because he did what all of us would want to do if we were only given the chance. That's right, it's Joe Kelly of the LA Dodgers doing what everybody who was against the Astros, which is pretty much every baseball fan that I could think of, fantasized about doing. This was the first episode. Alex Bregman gets thrown at. It goes over his head. Whoop. Didn't hit him. Clearly dangerous, though. Throwing at people's heads, not condoned on this show, nor does anyone at Rotofanatic approve. Then Michael Brantley does a bouncer to first. Nice double play turned here. Problem is, Brantley tries to step on Mr. Kelly's foot. If you look right here on the replay, watch this. Oh, he tried. Did he? Can't prove it in the court of law. But this is the real turning point, and now you're about to see a bunch of shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks? You mean Shenanigans?
Carlos Correa gets thrown at. The runners advance, which is good news. But now he's pissed. Look at this. Woo! Right over his head. Eventually, Correa will strike out. So now he's really pissed. Kelly says, "Wah, there it is. Oh my gosh, this is one of the best faces on a baseball field I've ever seen. You cheated. You cheated." That's what he's saying. Correa says, "Suck my, you know what." And he says, "You cheated. You're a cheater. Boo-hoo." He says, "Shut the F up." It goes on, and then they kind of mill around a bit, and this is where it gets really lame. This part is essentially like ordering McDonald's through Grubhub and then getting cold fries when it arrives. It's totally pointless. And so is having a fracas on a baseball field during COVID-19. Get it together. My only question, though, is this video from the offseason, which made the rounds online, was it preparation for this night, this exact moment? I wonder. So as I'm sure you have heard by now, the Miami Marlins are out of action until at least next Monday. And it's very possible that the games do not get made up this week. The Orioles and Yankees are now going to play each other on Wednesday, so the Orioles are good. And this leaves the Phillies as the other team out for the moment. There are only 6 days off in this 66-day run. And the collective bargaining agreement forbids any player from playing more than 20 consecutive days. It's ironclad. So this schedule for August and September shows that there's no room to make up these games. The Miami Marlins are not expected to play the Orioles again in September, so who knows how this is going to work out. It's very likely that the Marlins get screwed and will not be able to play as many games as other teams at this time. So if you have Marlins on your fantasy team, you might want to think about moving them, especially in Roto. Corey Kluber is out, and he might miss most of the season with the major tear. Unfortunately, this is just another injury in a long line of injuries for Mr. Kluber.
He's 34 years old, and the Cleveland Indians probably traded him for a reason. Defensive whiz Andrelton Simmons is out. He's on the 10-day IL after this injury when he twisted his ankle on first base. He tried to walk it off, but it was not to be. Andrelton will be out for a little while, and we'll see if he can contribute down the road. The truth is, though, Andrelton Simmons' value in fantasy is usually limited to deeper leagues or AL-only leagues. It looks like that preseason hype about Alex Wood going to Driveline is going to have to be put on hold. He's on the IL with shoulder inflammation.
Clearly getting some more opinions, but, he's been shut down rightfully and doesn't look promising for the near future for this season. We clearly thought he's 100% healthy, otherwise we wouldn't have allowed him to continue to progress.
It appears that you can safely drop Mikolas in all redraft leagues. And times are desperate because Matt Harvey has been signed by the Kansas City Royals to a minor league deal. The Royals have been hit hard by injuries. Foster Griffin and Mike Montgomery hit the IL this week with arm issues. So Matt Harvey's here to save the day.
Baseball stuff!
Baseball stuff! Nate Pearson is making his debut in 2020. Mr. Pearson, paging Mr. Pearson. Nate Pearson, Blue Jays fans, can you hear that? You hear the buzz? I can feel the excitement. I'm right here in Michigan. Canada's like right over there. It's not far at all. So I can hear the Canadians getting excited for Mr. Pearson's 2020 debut. Triple-digit slider. Threw it 104 miles an hour once at Arizona Fall League. 104. I don't know how many kilometers that is, but I should, because my girlfriend's Canadian, and that's just rude of me not to know the conversion rates. But Mr. Pearson won't have to worry about that because he's in America, the United States, in our nation's capital of all places, taking on Max Scherzer. He's going head-to-head with Scherzer, the old guard and the new guard. You got to love it. He's got a nasty slider. He's got that triple-digit fastball. He's also got a solid curveball. But the big improvement for him over the last year or so has been the development of Pearson's changeup. It's become an above-average pitch for him now. So you put all that into play, putting all four of those pitches in the strike zone on any count, that is bad news for hitters. And great news for Blue Jays fans and Charlie Montoyo, Blue Jays manager. Mr. Pearson, we'll see how many innings he goes. He got lit up a bit in his last exhibition start against the Red Sox, but that was exhibition, so who cares about that? At this point, Mr. Pearson is the man. He's the guy to watch. The 176 batting average against in the minor leagues last year. And that's for a whole season. So let's get excited.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
I don't know what kind of coffee Oliver Drake has been taking in, but this is some stuff you want to get your hands on. He has become the guy who's the closer right now for the Rays. 2 saves and as many opportunities, and Nick Anderson has come in high-leverage situations earlier in the game twice this season already. Did you know that Oliver Drake is the 3rd man ever to play in Major League Baseball from the Naval Academy? And he also holds a Major League record for playing for 5 teams in one season. In 2018, he accomplished that dubious feat. Kyle Crick's on the IL, so Nick Birdie said, I'll take care of things. And look at that. He got a double play to end the game and get a save. It's his first ever save. Congratulations, Mr. Birdie. Your fob bid should already be placed if you need closer help. In the meantime, if you are on a waiver wire league or straight-up free agency, you should have grabbed him by now. And Giovanni Gallegos is back with the Cardinals. He pitched 2/3 of an inning last night in their loss to the Twins.
You got the touch. Take 7. Excuse me.
You got the touch. You got the power.
We all know Dirk Diggler certainly had that magic touch. But let's find out who had it on Tuesday night around Major League Baseball. Tim Anderson had a whale of a day at the plate, going 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and a home run and scoring 3 runs, even though the White Sox lost to the Tribe. Little Adam Frazier crushed this ball to deep right field, and it's a 2-run homer that won the game for the Buccos over the Brew Crew. Nice job, Adam. Tim Lopes. Who the hell is Tim Lopes? Well, he's the man who's on fire right now. He went 2 for 4 last night, hit his first home run, and he's hitting .462 with a 1.346 OPS. Sure, it's a small sample size, but he also has a stolen base. This could be a valuable play for you, especially in roto leagues. Tigers' bullpen was able to hold on to beat the Royals 4-3. The bullpen pitched 6 innings of work with only 2 hits given up, totally shutting down this vaunted and surprisingly good Kansas City offense. And how about Javy Baez? 3 for 5, 3 runs scored, 2 homers, a full-on day for Mr. Baez with 3 balls that were hit very, very hard. The one you see here was hit off of Amir Garrett. And that leads us to the next segment.
You suck, you jackass.
Sucked may be a harsh term for some, but sometimes you're just not good at all. And right now, that's the Reds' relief pitchers, particularly Michael Lorenzen, who's already gave up 5 earned runs and 3 home runs in high-leverage situations. Some of the guys on this page are first-round talents, and there's no worries long-term. But right now, Yelich and Acuna just can't seem to make good contact. Howie Kendrick is making excellent contact. He's just hitting it right at people. The Phillies and Marlins remain sidelined for Wednesday's slate, but the juicy pitching matchups are all over the place. Here's the early returns for all the Rockies and Athletics hitters. Some guys are cranking the ball. Nolan Arenado hitting it hard. Trevor Story is destroying the baseball. So something's got to give tomorrow when these 2 pitchers take to the mound. Montas and Marquez are young fireballers with great stuff. I cannot wait to see this pitching matchup. And most of the fantasy world will be waiting with bated breath to see if Kyle Hendricks can repeat his performance from last Friday against the Brewers. And for Charlie Morton, there will be a lot of eyes on him, especially his velocity. It was down a couple miles per hour in his first start, and he'd already been waffling on whether or not he was going to play in this shortened season. So will he bring it in his next outing today against the Braves? It's something that anybody who owns Morton will be watching very closely. And finally, an ode to David Fletcher. The man deserves the credit and the pub. He has been playing lights out, and he's available at multiple positions. He can steal bags. He makes great contact. He doesn't hit the ball very hard, but that doesn't matter because he does what he does so well. If he's still available in your league, and I highly doubt that he is, you should be snagging him immediately. Put a claim in.
And now it is time for This Day in Fantasy History. Yep. This Day in Fantasy History for July 29th. So, who did what today? Jason Giambi became one of the oldest men ever to hit a home run in a baseball game. But that's not fun. I didn't want to use that. I found a lot of trades to go through. There was many trades because it's the end of the month in July. And usually the trade deadline is going on in normal baseball seasons. And oddly enough, somebody hit for the cycle again on this date. So we'll find out who that is. And it's a Met. There's so many damn Mets on this segment. Every time I do this segment, I feel like we're doing Mets. Ike Davis was yesterday. So there's another Met today. What can I do? It's part of the job. I like the Mets. I think they're a fun team. But let's find out who made a difference for fantasy players, who impacted teams, helped people to victory or defeat for July 29th.
On this date in 2004, Eric Valent hit for the cycle. And look, they're playing baseball in Montreal. Isn't that awesome? Man, that actually happened this century still. It is unlikely that anybody had him rostered, but if you somehow had him rostered in 2004, congratulations to you on getting a rare, unique cycle out of a player that wasn't long for the major leagues. On this date in 2006, Tomas Perez of the Rays hit 4 two-baggers in one game. So if you're playing in a points league, that was probably a monster day for you. And if you are paying attention, this is Perez later on with the Phillies, taking a shot to the Nads while striking out simultaneously. Unheard of. And of course, another Met in 2009, David Wright, set a franchise mark by scoring a run in his 13th consecutive game. In 2009, David Wright had a solid fantasy season, so if you had him on your team, you're probably thinking right now of those fond memories before he got hurt all the time.